to New Haven High School, where tonight it's girls wrestling action, as it's a little double duel between Jay County girls team, New Haven's team, and East Noble's team. Rexboro along with Nat Wood, as we are ready to take some action here. There's going to be a match between East Noble and Jay County first. That will consist of 6 matches and an exhibition match. Then they'll take a little bit of a break, and they'll pair up, and it will be whatever matches they can pair up between East Noble, Jay County, and New Haven, as New Haven has just 5 girls here tonight. East Noble with a pretty good squad here tonight, so we'll see how many they can put together. But for right now, we're getting ready. Nat, a little bit of a sickness going through most of these schools. You said that Jay County has a few people down on one of them, and probably their best wrestler is not in tonight.
Yeah, Mallory's out, sickness. I know there's a couple others. I was not told who they were. But, yeah, sickness going around the Jay County girls wrestling program.
How's the boys team been doing? Sometimes it kind of runs in circles for both boys and girls team. And I know there's a lot of flu-type stuff going around here in both sports.
Yeah, they haven't had any sicknesses. They ran through the Western Super 6 last weekend and then wrestled Delta and Yorktown and full lineup. So no sicknesses, injuries as of yet.
Well, with that, we have cleared the mats of the warm-ups. The girls are getting ready to go to the bench. I'd like to welcome you to the WZBD Radio YouTube channel. As tonight, the Pacers. Nat, you follow the Pacers?
I follow all Indiana. I'm a local guy. I like it. If I'm going to follow college basketball, I follow IU. I follow Notre Dame in football. I'm a Reds fan, Pacers fan, Colts fan. Root for Ball State. Anybody in Indiana's playing somebody outside of Indiana, I'm rooting for the Indiana.
Well, this young Pacer team's pretty darn good, and they've played their way into the in-tournament series, and they're playing out in Las Vegas right now. That game is on right now. And if you are not listening to us live, there's a link out there, and it will be played in its entirety after the Pacers game. This will probably go through pretty quick, as I think there's 6 matches the first round for Jay County and East Noble. This first match here is Aubrey Demi and Sophia Thomas. Sophia Thomas, the Jay County wrestler there?
Yep.
Why don't you take that one while I get this lined up here?
Yeah, Sophie's in the red singlet, white headgear. East Noble in their traditional blue and yellow. Just a little bit of collar ties, center of the mat, underhook on the right, under the right arm of Sophia. Switches it to the left, in on a single. Good counter, good sprawl by Sophia. Aubrey's able to switch off to a double. Going to get the takedown here, take a 2-0 lead. Aubrey of East Noble pulling into a Butcher situation. She's got Sophia on her back. She's getting some near fall. I think Sophia's pinned.
And this is a 110-pound match, and that's how it's going to end. Fall in
44
minutes. 44 seconds. Yeah. 44 minutes, I'd get a little tired at 44 minutes. So I don't know how they're going to keep score. They might not take all the forfeits, but it's going to be a 6 points for East Noble. Takes a 6-0 lead. And this next match coming up is going to be Jasmine Rodriguez. She's going to take a forfeit, looks like. And then it's going to be Marcia Schneider versus Callie Yates. Does that look like Miss Yates to you out there from
That's
Jay
Miss
County?
Yates. That's Callie Yates, a sophomore.
She is in a full blue Jay County singlet. Her opponent is in the new East Noble. A lot of black on East Noble. They were always just blue and gold before, but their singlets are black with some blue and gold on the back of it. Trying to get the time set. Jim Bopp is one of our officials here tonight. He's on the mat as he brings the wrestlers together, and they blows whistle, and we are underway here. Yates is in with some wrist control. They're head-to-head. Going from that collar tie, brings her opponent back in and shot on a single leg to Schneider. Schneider works up, and Schneider takes her down with a double leg. Schneider works her way up. She's doing a little head hunting, catches the arm. Got Yates caught on her back on the edge of the mat. She's inside the circle, getting some near fall points here. And Yates comes up on top, rolls out of that, just about takes Schneider to her back. Yates comes up and out. She's going to lose 3 near fall here. She's going to work her way around the back. Yates stands up, tries to pick up a leg. Schneider turns that into a double leg, takes her right back to center mat, climbs up the body. Yates needs to get back to her belly here. gets caught on her back again. She's giving up some near fall again. That's going to make the score 9-0. With about a minute left in this first period here. Yates is being ridden in the, she's in the bottom position. Tries to work her way up to all fours. Reaches back for leg, comes up to her base. And Schneider gets called for locked hands, and that's going to stop that. So Marcia Schneider right now is going to have a 7-1 lead.
And, you know, I'll tell you, Rex, you can really tell, you know, the girls that are trying this sport for the first time, you know, fairly new sport. You see a lot of things that you see out of first-year wrestlers, but you also see the potential out of them at the same time.
Yeah, a lot of good techniques on some, and the other ones still learn those techniques. And then you see them get in situations like Miss Yates was on her back there and turned the wrong direction, turned right into a half Nelson that just tightened it up. But she was able to work her way off her back. 33 seconds left to go in this first period. Her opponent's running a chicken wing on her, a chicken wing and a tight waist, kind of running out of a spiral ride. And Yates comes up to her feet. She's got 25 seconds to get escape. As Schneider's going to let her go, she gives her escape, cuts her loose. That's going to make the score 7-2. Nice double leg by Schneider. Schneider's in on a takedown. She's going to finish out of bounds and doesn't get it. So Schneider with a 7-2 lead. They'll be in neutral position here. Whistle blows from Bopp. 11 seconds left to go here. Nice double leg. Good double leg. Gets her head up. Yates with a nice sprawl. She's going to fight her way off of this. She can spin and go behind and get a takedown, and she doesn't have enough time, but good counter and nice sprawl there. Finishes period number 1 by a score of 7-2 with Schneider of East Noble in the lead. Choice goes to Jay County. Coach Jacks says we will defer. Miss Schneider comes over and she gives her choice to Jim Bopp, and she will be in the down position with a 2-0 lead here.
I guess that must be a good thing for Callie. Coach Jacks was going to have her pick up. And she got up anyway, so maybe she can make something happen here.
She's in the top position, riding with a tight waist. No real action. A little fat man stand up for Schneider in the bottom. And she gets a little bit too close out front, and Schneider's going to grab that leg of Yates, change the arm around the waist, drives up, gets reversal. So Yates takes Schneider takes a 9-2 lead over Yates. She has her flattened out on a mat with 1:43 left to go here. Hits a double wrist roll. And here, this is where we see Jay County really does a good job with that double wrist roll. Yep. Mallory Winter just takes and runs both those doubles over the wrist, but this here's a nice far bar and a half.
Oh, she's
got her buried. Yates is trying to kick out of it, but there's the fall.
Yeah, all of those bars that girls are doing, I think that they've taken right from the boys team, right? You know, you see a lot of kids run those bars.
2:37 is the fall time with another 12 points for East Noble. Makes the score 12-0. And that next match is going to bring up Emma Ratz from East Noble versus Natalie Spidell. Does that look like Miss Spidell to you?
It does. Collar ties right off the bat. Still trying to bring her to a little shuck there. I think that's Willow Hardy for Jay County.
Is it?
Yeah.
Yep, that's his. I'm sorry. Willow Hardy is wrestling against Emma Ratz.
Yeah.
And then if they have a next match, Willow Hardy wrestle again exhibition against Natalie Spidell. Okay, I see how he's got it written here. My bad.
Got it. Willow's going to get that takedown 2-0. Willow is a pretty good wrestler. She's wrestled for a couple years, and you can tell the difference. You know, as I was saying earlier, Rex, the technique and how quick it can improve over the years. And Willow's one of those wrestlers who's been in the program for a couple years, and there she is trying to run that bar.
Yeah, it's just a double bar, far bar and a near bar, and they just run it until the shoulder's over.
They keep turning, walking. Well, eventually they're going to go, right?
Or something breaks.
Yeah. Really, the Spidell's doing a really good job. Now she's really put that leg back to where that right leg she had posted on the mat out in front of her was really helping her keep from being turned. Now it's back out there again. Boy, she's not turning. Now that right leg starts to go back a little bit. Willow's let go of the bar. Now she's got it again. Still trying to walk it. I think I'd like to see her have a half Nelson on the opposite side in that situation where she can jump over and turn them with the half.
Gives you a little more flexibility. Sometimes get their arms stuck in that double wrist roll.
My man Drew Lingo coming to visit.
His sister Leah is in the lineup here tonight.
Yep, Lena will be in there shortly. We ought to have Drew call that. You want to call your sister's match?
He's not officially radio trained.
Yeah, you're not officially radio trained. 2-0. A lot of time spent by Willow trying to turn her with those bars. Just couldn't. I think I'd like to see that bar on one side and a half on the other to give her a chance to jump. Give her a chance to jump sides and turn it with the half. Two-0 lead by Willow.
This is a 125-pound match.
She breaks the opponents right down to the mat. Another wrestler with a non-traditional blue and gold singlet for East Noble. I kind of like the new ones, but I'm a traditionalist. I like those block ladders, and you know, back when I did it, we had those ones, those red ones, just said JC. That's all there was to it. Willow's trying to work a half on the right side. Now she covers the body. Now power half on the left side. Again, Speidel puts that right leg out, using that as her counter. Not doing a lot of jumping sides by Willow. Now she's got the wrist on the right side, got the bar again. Speidel sets into her and using that leg again. Willow's really trying to crank her over. Still has the bar. Same as last period. Willow did start at the top position, score still 2-0. Now she puts a half in on the right side. Switch sides. She drops down to the wrist on the right side, still trying to turn the bar. Now she covers the entire bottle. Now she's got the half in. She needs to jump to the other side. Still trying to work that bar. She's going to keep that half. She needs to come over. She needs to jump side. She's got the right. She's on the left side of her opponent and the half on the right side, and she's called potentially dangerous.
No, near bar and a far half is not an easy combination.
No, it's not.
It's hard to reach, especially when your arms are not as long. So this match will finish out with 240-pound matches.
Yeah, look, you know, some quickness by Willow jumping over the body and pushing that half to the ear. Or walking towards the ear, I guess you might say. Breaks her down immediately again. Goes right back to the arms. Has the bar on the left again. Just down the final 10 seconds here in the second period.
Willow Hardy scheduled for another match here, and she will take on Natalie Speidel, as this is Emma Ratz.
This is Ratz. All these names.
I'd like to thank our sponsors that have come on board for our girls series. We have 4 good sponsors. Got some commercials. We'll get those played in between here.
Willow rolls, just basic elbow roll. Could have been a Peterson, but she did end up with the reversal. 2 points, 4-1 now. I'm not sure how Ratz got the one. That he called that potentially dangerous, illegal.
Yeah, I think she had a half on one side and she half the far side. I think they touched.
Full Nelson.
Yep.
So 4-1 lead for Willow. I just seen the signal for potentially dangerous. Now stalling on Ratz of East Noble. Willow trying to roll the right wrist. She's got the bar on the left side again.
You know, Nat, if they don't turn them with that, they just wear them down.
Yeah.
It just takes a lot out of you having that person crunch your shoulders.
Even after the first period, Ratz had got up and kind of was, you know, rolling her shoulder herself. She hasn't given up on that, though. She's rolling the wrist on the right side, trying to get the bar on the left again.
Looks like she's trying to get that hammer lock. I think you got to jump off the side. She's riding her pretty dead behind the hips.
Well, you know, I mean, Rats now's the point. Like, I don't want my shoulders turned anymore, so I'm gonna bottle up here. Power half on the left side for Willow. She gets another point for stalling. Rats finally up to her base. Good head pressure by Willow. Getting a little high. Locked hands on Willow. It's going to become 5-2. Just 11 seconds left. Back to the center.
Marsha Schneider that beat Yates that first round. She is ranked 16th at 120 for the girls from East
Really?
Noble. Yeah.
And it's going to end 5-2. Jay County's finally going to get 3 team points here and make it 12-3.
So 12-3 is our final score here.
Speaking of the Pacers, Rex, 63-51 over Milwaukee at halftime.
That's a good score.
Lena Lingo, I think she's ranked 6th.
Let's
for
see.
Jay County is up.
Dane has it in his article here. Dane did a good job of giving us. She is ranked 6th at 130, and she is going after her opponent. Lingo is wrestling against Hadley Elling, and
you know, I think Lena might be a little bit better than 6. She's lost a couple matches this year in those tournaments, and the tournaments and girls aren't seeded, right?
yeah.
So she loses a close match in the first round down at the New Powell Invitational. That girl goes on to win it and pins everybody, and Lingo comes back and can't get any better than 5th.
Yeah.
By losing in the first round,
Well,
I think the match she lost was a 7-5, 7-6 match, and that girl goes on and pins everybody else. And, you know, probably the second best there and gets 5th.
Lingo fights off a nice double leg attempt by her opponent, Etling. And now she's just running a bar, and she's got her on her back, and she's just crunching her. Got to tighten up. Edling's going to kick out of it, come around on top, see if Lingo can hip up and take her back to her back. She's got 2 near fall scored, does Leah, so she's going to have a 2 takedown and a 2 near fall.
Going to probably give up a reversal here. Yeah.
There's 48 seconds left to go as she just kind of hip heists back over. Hasn't given up anything yet. Going to take it on. Ooh, that's a potentially dangerous in her arm. She got a chicken wing up high.
In the wrong way.
Oh, and there it goes.
Oh,
yeah.
whoa.
There she good. Good job. She comes out of it. She gives up no reversal or anything. So she was dangerously close to giving up reversal. And her opponent, Etling, says, man, my shoulder's a little bit crunched after that potentially dangerous. So Lingo's been in top position here. She got a 4-0 lead right now. She climbs on, rides her from the left side. Jimmy Bop's going to give her a caution because he doesn't like the way she's sitting on there. Said, I don't want you touching that elbow that way.
We also have some boy JV wrestlers here tonight on the second mat.
We didn't get any lineups on those JV wrestlers, but there is JVs from East Noble, Jay County, and New Haven out here tonight.
Yeah, and I think they're just matching up maybe. I don't know.
I think that the first round they're trying to match up Jay County and East Noble as much as they can, and I think the New Haven as the home school is just going to pair in and fill in the gaps for second round. We'll have 2 short rounds here. There's 6 matches in this first round as Lingo rides with a 4-0 lead here. She got a near side bar and a far side half. Looks like she may be hanging on to headgear. Got away with a technical violation there. She was hooked in the headgear.
Saved her a point.
So Lingo, she wrestled a young lady from Blackford or North Miami that first night we had that's ranked as she was really tough.
Yeah.
She put a hurting on her that night.
Yeah, Lena's a good little wrestler.
And she sounded like a wrestler. She came in to weigh in that night. She said, when we went in, I'm hungry.
Yeah.
Right in front of us. I said, that girl is serious about wrestling. So Lingo, with a 4-0 lead here, takes the down position.
There's a locked hand right off the bat, yeah.
So she's going to pick up a 1P off of that. See if Lingo can get escape and double up on it here. And she turns into opponent.
She's going to get the escape if she don't get a reversal.
She's going to get the R on that.
And the reversal.
So she gets a 1P,
Oh, and
a 1P and a 2R. So that's going to give her a.
I'm not sure. Also, he gave her a takedown.
And she said, I wasn't touching him. Yeah, you were, young lady.
So she got the 1 escape and 2 takedown, 7-0.
So he gave her a 1E, too.
You know, a great job officiating right there by
Jimmy Bop. Now Lingo just spins out, goes around, turns her with a half Nelson. Good technique. Far bar and a half. Turns her, trying to get the half, getting that weight back on her. She needs to slide back, and there's the fall. That would be 2 minutes and 37 seconds is the fall time. 2:37 the fall time for Leah Lingo. That gives another 6 points to the Jay County Patriots, Lady Patriots. That's going to make the score. Let's see, they had 9. Oh, I'm sorry, I got Jay County on their side here. It was 12. That's going to give them 9. 12-9 is the score right now. And who's on the mat right here, Nat? Looks like Emily Mano. Emily Mano?
No, I don't think that's Emily Maynard. It doesn't look like.
It's here, Emily Manor. Unless it's is it Malia Parsons?
It's not Malia Parsons. It's Emily. It just doesn't look like her. It's Emily Maynard. She's a ranked wrestler.
Well, it ain't going to last long because it's just about over.
Yeah, she got a takedown. She got the half in. I think Emily is ranked as well, 6th in the state. Oh, could have a good matchup later in the second round. 6 versus 8. She's got a cradle. She's already got a 5-0 lead, far side cradle. Good job. She's got that thing tight. That's going to be over, Rex.
Good technique.
Got her on the back. Got at least 3 near fall here.
A lot of time.
Oh, she's pinned, yeah. Good job.
Min 11. Fall time for Emily Maynard. That's going to put the Patriots out in front now, 15-12. That's going to bring up Malia Parsons wrestling against Kamaya Bell. Let's see. Kamaya Bell from East Nova is ranked 8th. So they paired those two away from each other.
Who's that now?
This Bell here
is wrestling.
She's wrestling the other girl. See, Maynard is ranked.
She's wrestling Malia?
Yeah.
She looks a lot bigger than the Bell girl looks a lot bigger than Emily.
She's pretty put together, isn't she now?
Yeah, she is. Takes Malia, takes her down right away.
I don't know if that's fair, but I think she kind of manhandled her, didn't she?
Yeah, she sure did. That was a good snap down and was able to get behind. Now she's got a half and a bar. See a lot of that even from the East Nova. Now she looked like she had a full Nelson. Yeah, she's there. There was a good job of going from one side to the other by the Bell girl from East Noble. Still 2-0. Half on the left side. Now she jumps to her body to the left and starting to turn it, and she's going to get it turned. Counting near fall. It's going to be a pin, Rex. Yep. That girl's good.
So that is Bell as your fall winner in 1 minute and 3 seconds. A 1:04, I'm going to call it. It's a fall. And that's going to take the score back to East Noble's favor. Score 18-15. And our last match here, which is going to be exhibition, is that Willow Hardy?
That's Willow, yes.
Okay, Willow Hardy is wrestling against Natalie Spidell, and this is a
Willow didn't get a whole lot of break,
match.
did she?
No. Not a 30-minute rest between
Who's
matches.
she wrestling? The Spidell girl?
Yeah.
Who's ranked 12th in the state at 125.
Yep.
Willow is not ranked.
And Spidell with a quick takedown. As she runs a nice tight waist. As Hardy tries to do a clamp and roll on that. And the opponent hooks up that bar. Ponytail flopping around, going to hit somebody, and now she just drops off, hits a bar in the near side half, and she's going to grind it over. Gets her chest down underneath the chest and tips her over. She's in a near fall situation here, getting 3. She's going to work for the fall here with 1:16 to go. Lifts the head, good technique, and there's the fall.
Last 2 girls from East Noble, really impressive, Rex.
Yeah. So that was a 46-second fall in exhibition. Doesn't count against the score, but we're going to call that a 18-15 win. Good close match for East Noble as it went back and forth. Now what we'll do is pair up some more matches. We will play some commercials here, which are our fine sponsors, some Jay County people, and there's Indiana Girls Wrestling, Jack's Associate, and a group that you have a lot to do with here is the Jay County Wrestling Club. So let's play these advertisements and back with more wrestling and get them lined up here after this.
The Fort Wrestling Facility at 1519 Goshen Road in Fort Wayne is building young wrestlers all across the Fort Wayne area,
Let me know
one
if I'm
practice
muted,
at a time. Join us for a live practice session or one of our upcoming camps at the Fort Wrestling Facility. Just check out our website today at thefortwrestling.com. Open to wrestlers 5 years old through high school. Don't miss the chance to train with wrestlers from all over the area, focusing on technique, conditioning, and learning how to love the sport of wrestling. The Fort Wrestling Facility.
Dane, let me know as a test if we're off, please. Thank you.
Indiana Girls Wrestling is a non-profit organization that promotes female wrestling in the state of Indiana. Our purposes are to be a public advocate for females participating in the sport of wrestling, to provide competition and training opportunities so that female participation in the sport of wrestling can grow within the state of Indiana, and sponsors an all-star team named the Indiana Inferno for regional and national competition. IGW hosts the USA Girls Midwest Nationals in early October of every year, and over the past 7 years has grown to be one of the largest all-girls dual and individual open tournaments in the country. This year, the duels had 30 teams from across the country, with 5 from Indiana, and over 500 girls competing in the individual open. So be on the lookout for more all-girls tournaments sponsored by Indiana Girls Wrestling in the near future. For more information, you can go to indianagirlswrestling.com or check them out on Instagram or Facebook under Indiana Girls Wrestling. At Jackson Associates Financial Services in Portland, we are committed to maintaining the highest standards of integrity and professionalism in our relationship with you, our client. We endeavor to know and understand your financial situation and provide you with only the highest quality information, services, and products to help you reach your goals. Give Troy a call for the latest rates on CDs and learn about the advantages in today's financial climate to invest in your hard-earned dollar. That's Jackson Associates in Portland. The Jay County Wrestling Club is a great place for your son or daughter to learn the great sport of wrestling. Our club does a great job of developing youngsters into better athletes using gymnastics, wrestling technique, and strength training. If interested, check out our Facebook page for practice details and to stop in.
Welcome back to New Haven High School and Rex Burloff, Nat Wood. Nat, Troy Jack's kind of double committed here. He's one of the coaches, and then he figures the only way I get girls wrestling on the air is I sponsor it with my business. And that's what we need. We need those local businesses like Jay County Wrestling Club and Jack's Associates to step up along with the Fort Wrestling Facility to help promote this girls sport.
Yeah, absolutely. Troy's been committed to the wrestling program as a whole, from start to finish with Jackson Associates. You know, he's been on the Jay County Wrestling Club board. I mean, he's served in a lot of capacities for this wrestling program, and still is currently involved in the board, but not as much. I mean, he's not a board member anymore, but he still has input and discussions. But Troy's always has and always will be a supporter of Jay County Wrestling.
Now, was he a teammate of yours? Was he on the team?
No, he's a little younger than me. I'm
Okay.
old.
Okay.
I'm old. I was an '82 grad.
82?
He was '89, and then my brother Bruce was '89.
Your brother
Or he
Bruce?
was 80. Troy was '88, and Bruce was '89.
Now, Bruce is one of the assistant coaches here for this girls team as well?
No, he's an assistant for the boys team.
Okay.
So your assistants here are John Winter, Mallory's father, Troy Jacks, and Chad Chowning, and Eric Myers, the head coach.
Okay.
You see the boys JV, Eric has predominantly been over there, and Tyler Leonard has been with the boys as well. Now also Nick Leonard's another assistant with the boys team, and as Brad Rossman.
So they're over at the bench. They're trying to get some matches paired up, and Coach Jimmy Lynn from New Haven said he would try and get me some pairings up here to let us know who's wrestling who. So we're not totally in the dark here, but do you know of other tournaments and matches that the girls from Jay County have coming up here?
I think they may have one more. I'm not sure where it's at. And then the state tournament's right around the
16th,
the
I think.
Yeah, no, it's the 30th. What's today? Is the
30th.
Today's the 7th.
Yeah.
On Jay County is hosting a regional.
Yep.
Last year we hosted the regional, but it was like a semi-state. We weren't able to do that this year, so it's moved to Rochester. So that is now a semi-state. We are hosting a regional on the 30th. I think that's going to be one of the fastest regionals in the state, because in northeast Indiana, the Jay County regional area, it's the same schools that can combine for the boys sectional. So it's the Delta sectional and Jay County sectional. There's not a lot of girls between Belmont and, say, Muncie Central in between there. So I think it's going to be very, very fast.
Well, that's good, because Dane wanted me to take a match on my wife's birthday, and I said, well, is it going to be done fast? He said, you'll be done fast. You'll be home in time to take her out for supper. So that's the only reason I'm doing it. Because I think that's the same weekend he will be over someplace else doing another match.
Yeah, I think
Rochester.
you and I are doing the girls regional, and I think Rochester's doing the semi-state. I think he might be going somewhere where the boys are going.
I think the boys, there's a match someplace over there, but we haven't decided. We are either going to be on YouTube or PGW, and he's going to be on ZBD or on YouTube. So I don't know what they're going to do.
You and I'll be there no matter what.
We'll be there. We'll be talking. Where it goes, we don't know, but
that's what Dane says we do best, is talk.
just talk. But a lot of good wrestling. I did attend the Wrestling Officials Association meeting here tonight, where they invited wrestling coaches up there, and that was at Brotherhood Mutual, and that was a very good. That's where he's going to be. Dane just texted me. He's going to be at a Crow's Nest at the Al Smith, day 2.
Oh, okay.
AJ.
He's just going there as a fan, let's be honest.
Well, they're actually going to be covering something, so we'll see. But I was at the Coaches Association, and I recorded it, and on our show on Sunday night, I've got some clips of the commissioner speaking. And Gary Myers, who's kind of like the head of the Girls Coaches Association, said that we're anticipating about 1,650 girls wrestling this year.
No kidding.
You know, it's almost doubled. Each year it's more than doubled. Last year was like 830. This year he's anticipating 1,650. And that's what forced the 16 regionals. I mean, some of them may be small, but it might take a few years to fill those regionals up. But there was just too many girls, and it had too many matches. They couldn't get them all in their number of matches allotted in a day. So they've turned it to that many numbers sectionals. So, yep. Yeah, here, let's put him on this one, Jimmy.
Getting some lineups.
Get some lineups, but and one of his commitments, he said that it is his goal. He wouldn't fully commit to it, but he said the plan is that girls wrestling will be an IHSAA sanctioned sport next year.
So that brings me to the question, and I've heard rumors. I think it's great that it's going to be sanctioned sport, but I've also heard rumors that they're going to institute the boys' weight classes, which I think is a mistake.
That is true. They are going to do boys' weight classes, and another point that came up that was is not a fan favorite of some people is that if girls wrestling is sanctioned, girls will wrestle girls and boys will wrestle boys, and there will be no crossover.
You know, and I tell you, and I see both points of it. A couple of years ago at ISWA State, my grandson and his son were in the same weight class, and we were sitting with each other. And he had a good point. You know, he's got some elite level daughters. You know, we know one has Olympic aspirations in Juliana. And his point was he's all for girls wrestling. He's all for it eventually being sanctioned. And we as parents, grandparents, we're all selfish when it comes to our families, right? Juliana's elite, and her wrestling solely girls, when girls wrestling in Indiana is still in its infancy, isn't going to make her better.
Correct.
So, you know, yeah, selfish reasons as a parent, her not having the ability to wrestle boys in her senior year is going to, you know, in a way, stunt her growth as a wrestling in season.
So here's the explanation that Commissioner Falcons has, and it's pretty much cut and dry. If you have a girls basketball team and a boys basketball team, a girl cannot play on a boys basketball team because girls basketball is offered as a sport. When girls wrestling is sanctioned as a sport, a girl cannot wrestle on the boys wrestling team because it is offered as a sanctioned sport. It's no different between basketball, football, soccer, track, anything.
I get it.
Yeah.
And I was just, you know, looking at Sam Ocampo's point of view. And I don't think either way is wrong. You know.
It's you have to look at your own aspect.
That's right.
But as most people understand when they deal with Robert Falcons, there's one way.
Yeah.
It's Robert's way, and that's the way it's going to be. Now, Robert doesn't make all the decisions, but there's a board of people he goes back to. He's just like the face of the decision. Now, people are always telling him, you need to make girls wrestling a sanctioned sport. Well, Robert has to take it to a board, and I think Robert's pushed harder to get girls wrestling sanctioned than the commission, the rest of the commissioners have allowed him to push it there. So I feel very strongly for the fact that it is going to be girls wrestling as a sanctioned sport. And somebody asked a good question the other night, because as a identified as emerging sport is boys volleyball. And somebody said, does boys volleyball have to go and then girls wrestling goes with it? And he said they're totally separate, independent. Boys volleyball could go first, and then girls wrestling could have to wait a year. He said they're totally independent. So we have some matches here, and Jay County, it's going to be Katie Rouse, and she's going to have a match against New Haven wrestler Amila Spillers.
Cody Rouse's little sister.
Why don't you take this one and I look up and see what kind of rankings these young ladies have.
I think Katie's number 11. Yeah, I remember. I'll tell you a story after she finishes here. Some hand fighting in the middle of the center circle, collar ties. Katie's able to snap her down, get behind, puts a half in on the right side. Doesn't have the wrist. She picks up the leg, steps through the legs.
You're correct, Nat. She is 11th.
And her opponent was able to get back to her base out of bounds. Excuse me.
I don't know where I'm getting all this hissing noise from here.
Katie starts on top, goes underneath for the arm, now steps through again. Now she's back to her belly. Her opponent half on the right side again. She's turning. No, she's got the wrist rolled under. Now she loses it. Now she goes to the leg. Has her opponent on the back, getting near fall, looking for the pin. Has the half in, and there's the pin. Katie Rouse pin in 43 seconds. Anyway, Rex, I was getting ready to tell you a story about Katie. Katie was a cheerleader growing up. I always used to tease her that she needed to wrestle. She needed to wrestle. So she's a sophomore this year, and she said she would never wrestle. She would never wrestle. Well, she quit cheerleading to focus on wrestling.
Well, I think her brother may have had some influence on her, didn't he?
Yeah, and then her dad was a wrestler and everything, but her mom was a cheerleader, so dad and brother won out.
Well, guess what? If you don't have matches on nights that the basketball team's playing, you can still cheer. You know? She could do both.
But she wants to focus, so she's got a home mat and works hard to get better.
At 145 pounds, Jay County's Malia Parsons is going to wrestle against New Haven's April Lagner. And we're underway. This is a match at 145 pounds. That first match between Rowles, that was a 100-pound match. So at 145, it's Parsons versus Lagner. And Lagner trying to fight off a single leg here. As Parsons in tough on a single leg. Got her head caught on the inside. She's going to try and back out. And there's a headlock. Parsons, by Lagner, and Lagner's going to try and spin around, go behind, and she has controlled her for the takedown. So Lagner with a 2-point takedown has the lead, and she takes that cradle, but she's on her own back. She got to watch out for a fall there. Defensive fall.
That was, wasn't it?
Yeah, Jimmy's. They're cheering, but they don't know. They don't know yet until he raised her hand. He said, "You just pinned yourself." She said, "What?"
The girl just says, "I won."
No, she's
Oh,
defensive
the girl
fall.
from oh, gotcha.
Yeah, and Harley is over there telling her, "You got to watch your back. You got to watch your back."
I don't think either one of them know.
I did.
I wasn't watching. I was answering a text.
I could see Jim Bop's face, and he goes, "Yeah, she's pinned because Parsons' shoulder was way up on the inside. She's actually laying on the chest of her opponent, and then she was leaning back and put her back, so it was a defensive fall."
So who was that? Heaven Gardner?
That was April Lagner.
April Wagner. I don't see her in there.
She's not ranked. So Lagner. This is going to bring up Madison Gage from Jay County versus Olivia Bodie, and Bodie is ranked.
And Madison is tall. Bodie right into a collar tie. Reaches out for the right leg. Now comes the underhook on the left side. Little snap down into a single to the right side. Good sprawl by Madison. Now she's got a front headlock. Comes out of it. Bodie says, "All right, we'll take this upper body stuff." She got the bear hug basically. Turns her right to her back. They go down underneath right to her back. Madison's now giving up near fall, and she's pinned.
That's a nice throw.
That was.
I don't care whose team you're rooting for. That's a nice throw.
Well, and not only that, she really took advantage when Maddie went for the bear hug. It's like she said, "All right, you want to go upper body, let's go upper body," and she used it to her advantage.
I don't want to, but I will.
Yeah, that's exactly what it was like.
So that'll bring up our last match. This is Jay County's Tess Miller at 170 versus New Haven's Heaven Gardner. And Gardner is ranked. Yes, she is. Heaven Gardner is 14th at 170, and she is very athletic. I was watching her warm up before, and she is very aggressive as Miller comes out after her, pushing hard. A lot of heavy hands here. Usually don't see heavy hands on girls, but these girls are throwing down as Gardner, very strong, very athletic. Miller's fighting in there right with her, not backing out from her. Minute 38 left to go here in period number 1. This is our last match here of round number 2. Working on the inside collar tie. Well, they're just kind of holding each other's arms. I don't know if that's a collar tie or not. She fakes a headlock, does Gardner. Gardner with one hand down on the mat. Circles around. Fakes a shot. Trying to work an overhook. Kind of goes over the top. A little bit of a front headlock situation as Miller tries to back out. Gardner's got a hold of her. Gardner just takes her down, takes both arms and just bundles her up, takes her right to the mat and fires in a half as she's headhunting. Needs to get her chest on her. She's got a different part of her body on her, but now she sags back a little bit, and there's the fall.
Really surprised she got rid of that half and went into, come from bundling up, went to the half. I mean, it worked out for her, but I mean, I think it would have worked out either way. I'm sitting here thinking, Rex, all the years you and I have been covering wrestling in some form or fashion, I don't think I would have ever thought that we would ever cover girls wrestling. And then we started covering girls wrestling. And then I would have never thought that we would be talking about girls being ranked.
Yeah,
and it's just the speed of the way this sport has taken off has been incredible.
And I tell you, I mean, I tell people all the time that if you want to watch an elite set of girls wrestling, go to the girls state finals.
Oh,
because this year with 16 regionals and 4 semi-states and those girls coming in, the cream of the crop will rise to the top. You know that's going to be. And we saw some matches in the finals last year, just incredible technique. Like you said, Ocampo and Joy Cantu and those girls, they're on a elite level they want to be Olympic wrestlers like Sarah Hildebrand. And I will see Sarah Hildebrand down to the state finals, and I'm going to ask her, what's it like to have a tournament named after you?
Yeah,
They just wrestled at Penn last week. They had the first ever Sarah Hildebrand Invitational, and I think there was like 450 girls there.
Yeah, I mean, it's just crazy. I mean, I tell you, and a lot of people don't realize that Indiana as a whole, when you even look at the national scene of women's wrestling, Indiana is considered a hotbed.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, if you think about, we had Sarah Hildebrand, we had Kayla Miracle, and not even talked about that was part of the
Alara Boyd's in the national team right now.
Part of the Olympic team as a alternate was Alara Boyd.
Yeah.
3 girls. I mean, having 2 girls out of 10 spots, or maybe
6
spots.
6 spots.
2 girls out of 6 spots in the entire country on the Olympic team, and an alternate.
Yeah.
3 girls out of 12 from the state of Indiana.
Let's take this opportunity to play some commercials and back with the third round right after this. You're listening to High School Wrestling on WZBD.
The Fort Wrestling Facility at 1519 Goshen Road in Fort Wayne is building young wrestlers all across the Fort Wayne area, one practice at a time. Join us for a live practice session or one of our upcoming camps at the Fort Wrestling Facility. Just check out our website today at thefortwrestling.com. Open to wrestlers 5 years old through high school. Don't miss the chance to train with wrestlers from all over the area, focusing on technique, conditioning, and learning how to love the sport of wrestling. The Fort Wrestling Facility, building wrestlers in the Fort.
Indiana Girls Wrestling is a non-profit organization that promotes female wrestling in the state of Indiana. Our purposes are to be a public advocate for females participating in the sport of wrestling, to provide competition and training opportunities so that female participation in the sport of wrestling can grow within the state of Indiana, and sponsors an all-star team named the Indiana Inferno for regional and national competition. IGW hosts the USA Girls Midwest Nationals in early October of every year, and over the past 7 years has grown to be one of the largest all-girls dual and individual open tournaments in the country. This year, the duels had 30 teams from across the country, with 5 from Indiana, and over 500 girls competing in the individual open. So be on the lookout for more all-girls tournaments sponsored by Indiana Girls Wrestling in the near future. For more information, you can go to indianagirlswrestling.com or check them out on Instagram or Facebook under Indiana Girls Wrestling. At Jackson Associates Financial Services in Portland, we are committed to maintaining the highest standards of integrity and professionalism in our relationship with you, our client. We endeavor to know and understand your financial situation and provide you with only the highest quality information, services, and products to help you reach your goals. Give Troy a call for the latest rates on CDs and learn about the advantages in today's financial climate to invest in your hard-earned dollar. That's Jackson Associates in Portland. The Jay County Wrestling Club is a great place for your son or daughter to learn the great sport of wrestling. Our club does a great job of developing youngsters into better athletes using gymnastics, wrestling technique, and strength training. If interested, check out our Facebook page for practice details and to stop in.
Welcome back to welcome back to New Haven High School. Rex Brewer along with Nat Wood, and they're trying to use this mat here that the girls have been wrestling on to get a couple of these other junior varsity matches between East Noble. They got an exhibition match here with a couple of East Noble guys going here, but Nat, a lot of things happening in girls wrestling. Gary Meyer talked the other night at the Coaches Association, or the Official Association meeting where the coaches were there. He and Pat Culp were there and talking, and they said that you make sure that you get everything done. They're going to run it just like boys this year as far as your weight information has to be sent in to them. Their online scheduling, they've got it all set up so that they just go and click and register your people, and they need that registration up front so they can get all those information so when they start to those big tournaments where they start the 16-team regionals. And I know that Gary's talking, he said that when they first wanted to have the 16 regionals, it's like, oh my gosh, we're not going to find anybody that's going to want to host them. And he said, amazingly, he said 14 of the 16 were filled instantly.
Oh yeah, we had the opportunity, as you know, last year we hosted what they call the Girls Regional, and it just didn't work out for us to host it on a Friday.
Yep.
So we're going to host the regional, and the semi-state went to Rochester. But yeah, why wouldn't you want to? One of the fastest growing sports, in American state. I did see a graphic the other day, though, that I think out of the 50 states, 46 of them have, 45 or 46 of them have sanctioned girls wrestling, and we're one of the 4 or 5 that doesn't. And you mentioned Pat Culp. I'll tell you what, that lady doesn't get enough credit. I know she does in a lot of the close wrestling circles. You know, we know her. A lot of people that just watch wrestling or just parents. If you have a girl wrestler, that's one person you should thank. Even if you have a boy wrestler, that's one person you should thank. And actually, I don't know if you ever had her, but she'd be a great guest on your Sunday show.
She was on there last week.
Okay. Obviously, I didn't listen.
Yeah.
But yeah, she's just a remarkable person, and she's actually moving on to the national level with USA Wrestling.
Because there is so much that happens behind the scenes that the average fan does not realize. Because you know, everything's going track wrestling now. So when you see two people at the bench and one's running a scoreboard for the scoreboard on the wall, the other one's running a track wrestling computer, and that track wrestling computer ties in and it goes into this big network, and you can be in. I know the farthest place away, Phil Arnold from Adam Central was in Lima, Peru one time for business, and he tuned in to track wrestling and was watching a match. And I've done it before.
Yeah, I have too.
You can see and watch track wrestling. It's better than nothing. You know, it's not like being there, but it's better than nothing. But something has to link up all that. And Pat says when she's got tournaments running, she's in her basement at home and she's got 3 big screens up and she's just watching it all come together. And they're making sure that the computers are running, making sure that the links are set up. It's just a logistic nightmare.
It's crazy. And actually on track wrestling, I mean, you can even watch them. I mean, you know,
if you pay the money. I'm cheap.
Yeah.
I'm cheap. I don't pay the money.
Right. Well, I do. But, you know, I do it not only because of the stuff that we do, but, you know, I want to watch, you know, my grandson's matches. And I get on there. You know, I have nephews that travel and wrestle, and I'll watch them. So I do it for that. But, you know, the things that she's done for the sport has just been incredible. And she needs a lot more accolades than she gets. You know, those awards ISWA gets, she should get all of them one year.
Yeah. You know, and she was on our show talking about that last week. And Dane was saying, you know, the Girls Association, you know, people think it's this big, massive operation. It's not.
No.
It's like her and Gary Myers.
Yeah.
And then J.D. Minch helps a lot, too.
Yeah.
But somebody has to do the work.
Yeah.
I mean, everybody, you want to, as a fan, you walk in, you watch, see the event, and you walk out and go home. There's somebody doing a lot of work behind the scenes to make all that stuff happen.
Yeah, and it's crazy the amount of work that makes it happen. And you know, thanks to all them.
Yeah.
Right?
And I do want to give some shout-outs to Dane Filling, who's back listening at home, as there's a lot of people that have to do with the rankings and the rating systems, not just for individuals, but we got a big show coming up on the 17th that is going to say who the last spots coming in for the team state are. And there's teams out there battling right now, and that has not been decided yet. And there's a committee that's going to be together and vote during the day of the 17th, and then our show goes on the 17th, and we're going to reveal live who those teams who get into the team state. And it's become kind of a big media event where these teams get together. It's like they're watching the pairing show like the IHSAA does.
Yeah.
And people have tuned into our show, and we've got quite the following now. And it kind of makes you feel real good that people are listening to you just to see if they get in, and they're pumped up about it.
Yeah, I mean, it is a great show. I mean, I know I watch every year the anticipation of the individual state finals for the draws. I think last year might have been the first year that you've done something like that.
We've done it 2 years now.
Yeah, and I think I was there last year when you had done it, and it's exciting. I think the IHSA dropped the ball with Team State, and that's really the format of how they wanted to do it just wasn't what the sport needed, and what the Indiana High School Wrestling Coaches Association does with the state duels has been fantastic. I do think one thing though. I think schools have failed this sport when it comes to the state duels because it's not an official IHSAA. It's really not recognized by a lot of schools.
Yeah.
Some schools do, some schools don't. And I think it should be. I mean, it's here, it's staying, and I think everybody should get on board.
The wrestling community understood what it means to have a team state championship. And for the fact that the Coaches Association stepped up and said, we're not going to let this opportunity go, and they picked it up and took off right with it, it has gotten so much better. When the early stages, it was kind of cumbersome. They didn't have the rankings. Well, now with Dane doing the ratings and they rank teams and then they seed them and it comes in, it's quite a lot of working pieces that go on behind the scene. But when it all comes off, when you guys ran one of the tournaments last year, and you got 12 teams coming in there and they're battling it out, and it's really exciting to be part of because every kid on your team can participate. If you're in the individual tournament and you get beat out in a sectional, you're done. But if you're part of the team tournament, you're there. You could be the backup 145-pounder, and they get to a match when you got to bump somebody, and boom, you're in wrestling.
That's
and
right.
You're part of the team.
Yeah, it's truly a team sport, also an individual sport. I recommend it for everybody. I think great life lessons you learn as an individual because it's just you and another guy out there at the mat with a big crowd, and at the same time your team's dependent on you for team points, and it's kind of like work, right? Sometimes you work as an individual, sometimes you work as a team, and I think it's a great life lesson sport for boys and girls.
So as they wind down and they got some heavyweights on the mat here, we might be getting some information up here for us. Wait to see Jimmy Lim's trying to get some things paired up over there. I'm going to take this opportunity to run another group of commercials and we'll be back with more wrestling in this final round here from New Haven High School on the girls' side on WZBD YouTube page.
The Fort Wrestling Facility at 1519 Goshen Road in Fort Wayne is building young wrestlers all across the Fort Wayne area, one practice at a time. Join us for a live practice session or one of our upcoming camps at the Fort Wrestling Facility. Just check out our website today at thefortwrestling.com. Open to wrestlers 5 years old through high school, don't miss the chance to train with wrestlers from all over the area, focusing on technique, conditioning, and learning how to love the sport of wrestling. The Fort Wrestling Facility, building wrestlers in the Fort.
Indiana Girls Wrestling is a non-profit organization that promotes female wrestling in the state of Indiana. Our purposes are to be a public advocate for females participating in the sport of wrestling, to provide competition and training opportunities so that female participation in the sport of wrestling can grow within the state of Indiana, and sponsors an all-star team named the Indiana Inferno for regional and national competition. IGW hosts the USA Girls Midwest Nationals in early October of every year, and over the past 7 years has grown to be one of the largest all-girls dual and individual open tournaments in the country. This year, the duels had 30 teams from across the country, with 5 from Indiana, and over 500 girls competing in the individual open. So be on the lookout for more all-girls tournaments sponsored by Indiana Girls Wrestling in the near future. For more information, you can go to indianagirlswrestling.com or check them out on Instagram or Facebook under Indiana Girls Wrestling. At Jackson Associates Financial Services in Portland, we are committed to maintaining the highest standards of integrity and professionalism in our relationship with you, our client. We endeavor to know and understand your financial situation and provide you with only the highest quality information, services, and products to help you reach your goals. Give Troy a call for the latest rates on CDs and learn about the advantages in today's financial climate to invest in your hard-earned dollar. That's Jackson Associates in Portland. The Jay County Wrestling Club is a great place for your son or daughter to learn the great sport of wrestling. Our club does a great job of developing youngsters into better athletes using gymnastics, wrestling technique, and strength training. If interested, check out our Facebook page for practice details and to stop in.
Welcome back to New Haven High School. Rex Brewer along with Nat Wood as we're still awaiting the next round of matches that will be wrestled here as Coach Jimmy Lynn is over there trying to get some things paired up here, and he did a real good job of getting those up to me before. But for now, we're Nat and I are just kind of shooting a breeze up here to see what we can get done. But Nat, you were one of the first to see the brand new High School Wrestling Weekly sweatshirt of the year.
I like the High School Wrestling Weekly portion. Having a sweatshirt with your face and Dane's face on it doesn't thrill me.
Well, this year I had my daughter design them, and I said our faces were too big last time, so we shrank them down. So we
and
just
plus, they both look like you have beards.
Well, I don't. It'd take me 6 years to grow a beard, but Dane, my daughter said that Dane's facial hair was causing her problems in her design, so she had to lose his facial hair. So I told Dane, I said, you got shaved.
Well,
so
I think, we got to find a way. to get this, I don't know how far a reach you get. I don't know. I see the people in Evansville being able to listen to this show. We could talk about Evansville, and things like that. I think you could go places. I think you could sell your show to an Indianapolis station.
Well, guess what? See that far
Oh,
sponsor
looky
right there? Evansville came on board this year, and because everybody complained because they got to go to Evansville for the state finals, guess what? Complaining time's over. Man up. We're going to Evansville for the state finals, and we're going to have a great time.
You know what? I mean, Evansville's come to Fort Wayne, and you talk about that, and, we have an elementary dual event at Jay County every Sunday before Thanksgiving every year. We started in 2016. We didn't do it in 2020. So we've had, Graham, St. Paris Graham comes every year. Crown Point has come the last 2 or 3 years. We've had Center Grove, we've had Perry Meridian. We've had all the big boys there. We divide it in divisions: large school, medium-sized school, small school, 8 schools each division. And everybody told me, they said, what would make this big school division perfect if you got Evansville Mater Dei to come. Well, we got Evansville Mater Dei to come. So you know what? They drove all the way to Portland, Indiana from Evansville, Indiana. We sure as heck can drive to Evansville for state finals.
Well, Dane got in touch with the Chamber of Commerce of Evansville, and they said, we want to be part of your show because we'll help promote it. So we're going to talk about it all season long. So starting this week, supposedly they sent him some gift cards. So we're going to set up this contest. So people each week are going to be able to either be in there or can go on to some kind of a web thing and enter in a contest. And Evansville sent us a stack of gift cards. So you may get a $50 gift card as a gift for answering some questions on our show. And so when you go to state finals at Evansville, you're going to have a gift card for Evansville. They came on board. It's Evansville Adventure in Evansville, I think is what's on the back of my shirt. But they paid for sponsorship. And when you tune into the High School Wrestling Weekly, one of the commercials we play, it talks about Evansville and the beautiful state of the beautiful southern half of the state where they're going to have the state finals. And they gave us some T-shirts, and they gave a little information packet that I have to show, and people want to see it. And I think we're going to get Dane to put that out on our website to look at it. And it's got a list of all kind of eateries that are down there. It's got a list of hotels and other venues that you can go. Robert Falcons kind of tipped his hand the other day, and he said he wasn't supposed to say this, but he said Evansville is ready to party, and he said they have lined up buses that are going to take you to all the parties on Friday and Saturday night, and it's going to be free. There's going to be free buses for anywhere you want to go, so you can go and have as much fun in Evansville as you want, and they'll get you back to your hotel at night. So I tell you what, they're rolling out the red carpet for us, and they're ready.
Well, you got to look, if you're Evansville, you're the Chamber of Commerce or the Business Association or whatever down there, look at volleyball. One year they had to change that venue to Worthen Arena in Muncie, Indiana. It never left.
Yeah.
It's still there. And I don't remember why it had to move there, but one year it had to move there, and it has never left Muncie, Indiana.
And if you've ever been there, it's a great place.
It's a great facility.
Yeah, and it's kind of the mecca of volleyball in the Midwest.
Yeah, absolutely. And if you're Evansville, if it's something you're interested, you got to pull out all the stops to make the IHSAA put it back in Indianapolis. Mm-hmm. I'm not opposed to having different sports at different locations. It doesn't always have to be Indianapolis.
Yeah.
I mean, I know it's the center of the state. It's the capital of the state and everything, but volleyball's worked out well. I think what they do cross country in Terre Haute.
Yep. Yeah. We have some girls matches here, but they're not the Jay County matches. But one thing I do want to say is they talked about with the state finals being down there, they used to have the semi-state Southern Arena was down at Bloomington, Seymour. It was in Seymour. And Evansville, when they built Ford Arena, said, we want to have it here. Ford Arena is very similar to the Coliseum. And they say that when you get in there, you will seem just like your Coliseum, but it's newer. Mm-hmm. They said the floor is a little bit tighter, and the fans are on top of it a little bit more. But
that'll be even funner.
Yeah. Kurt Crouch said that he's refereed at all the semi-states, and he said he thinks that the Evansville semi-state is the nicest to work. He said he likes Fort Wayne because he's a home guy, but he enjoys when semi-state. Evansville stepped up because it's such a far drive for officials to come from around the state. The Evansville has they take and they put up all the referees at the casino in the hotel at the casino, and those guys are put up for free. They don't pay for that, and they go in there, and the guys that have worked it said, I'll go to Evansville any year you can because it's just that nice of a venue to go to.
Yeah, and really, you know, how much does it really take away, you know, even from the athletes in school? Most of the athletes already are on the road in Indianapolis by noon on Friday anyway. So does that go into Thursday for someone like Angola, Belmont, Jay County that's got that 3.5-hour drive? I don't know. But that's something that you could leave at 7 a.m. and still be there by 11 o'clock.
Well, Robert Falcon said that they've had basketball teams that played semi-states out of Indianapolis that go to Evansville, and they leave on Thursday.
Yeah.
Because if they're playing on Friday, they leave on Thursday. And we plan on having our show Friday before the event starts, and we're planning on going down Thursday night.
I'm going down Thursday too.
Yeah. So one of the things maybe to look forward to, Dane's kind of looked at Evansville wants to do it big. You know, they want to make it almost like college game day, like on ESPN where they have the big panel and they have all the guys up in front of it. There's rumors that it could be Dane Filling, Rex Brewer, Nick Lee, and Sarah Hildebrand on the dais. And I told Dane, a couple of schmoes like us with that wrestling pedigree, I'm going to feel quite honored, but I think it'll be a great time.
Well, what I'm going to do, I'm going to take my 15-minute bit, a 14-minute bit, so I can have a minute for each weight class. And I'm going to bring a shirt or hat or something. I'm going to do the Lee Corso and make my picks.
Put the head on.
Of each weight class with the headgear on. I'm going to get 14 headgear with the logo on the side.
So we'll see how all that goes. We're still in conference communications with them to see what we're going to do, but we just not quite sure what it's all going to entail. But I tell you what, we're ready. We're going to have a good time. If you come out to the High School Wrestling Week on Sunday night, you may get a T-shirt. Last week, my buddy Tony Roman walked out with an Evansville T-shirt. The week before, Code of the Count walked out with an Evansville Frisbee. And I said, here, take this to wrestling practice and throw the Frisbee around. Their new wrestling room is big enough you can throw a lot of Frisbee thrown in that room.
Yep, I'm in that wrestling room every week. My grandson practices there, so it's quite
the facility.
It's quite the facility.
The new athletic director, Mr. Clark, is his name Clark?
I think so.
Yeah, walked AJ and I through it on the way out, and had a real good tour of it, and found out just how impressive a facility it is. And then below it is a weight room that would make some colleges jealous. But waiting to see if. Nat, do you recognize the JV wrestler in the boys mat over there?
I do not.
Okay. We have not got any input from Jimmy Lynn at this time, but this is one of the New Haven versus East Noble girls wrestling down here.
I think that pretty much tells us that the girls are over, because the Jay County girls are over there dressed. Coaches are standing there waiting for them. I don't think any more Jay County girls are going to wrestle. They got some coats on, and it looks like they're going to be heading out the door.
Well, Nat, if that's the case, we've got our commercials played. It's been a great night of wrestling. This will be available out on our YouTube page, and I was doing some checking, and last check, the Belmont Delta match had 343 views to tune in and listen to that match. The night it was on, up around 200, so like 100 people have went in and tuned in and listened to that, or recently listened to it. But I'll tell you what, this ability to cover more than one sporting event at one time is just incredible technology that Dane and Dave Nathan have come up with, and I just think it's just a really good way to allow us to bring in as many sports as possible.
Yeah, I think it's fantastic too, and I tell you, I was planning on making it to that Delta Belmont match. I wasn't able to, but wasn't able to listen. And as I told Dane, I'm going to make all the Adams County fans mad here. I still think Delta's the best team in 2A, whether Belmont beat them or not.
Yeah.
I think straight up for sure, having a couple people out of the lineup for Delta, I think hurt them. And
well, did you do much about the Delta match where Delta went over and put the hurting on the Jay County Patriots?
They sure did. They sure did. And as I was explaining this to Dane as well, the score looks worse than what it actually was, I think. And I think about 3 matches. So final score is 48-30 without the misconduct.
Yeah.
So 48-30. Jay County lost 2 1-point matches, one while leading. One of them they were leading 5-1, got beat 7-6. One close takedown at the end that, some officials award it, some don't. And we lost a match that we were tied 5-5. And if you don't get pinned there, you still lose the match. That takes 3 away from Delta.
Mm-hmm.
If you reverse those 1-point matches, it's now 39-37 match. And that's what I was explaining to some fans here today, that high school wrestling scoring is so deceiving. When you beat someone 48-30 in basketball, it's dominating fashion. When you beat someone 48-30 in wrestling, it's 3 matches out of 14.
Yeah.
So I think it was close, but I think Delta's the better team right now. I think the coaching staffs for Delta, Jay County, and Belmont, who I think are the 3 best.
Well, you got Western in there too, and Jay County beat Western the other night. Now this week, Delta wrestles Western.
Yeah, and I think the wild card, and I say that I think all 3 are the best. Garrett might be the 3rd best. I would love to see, and I'd have to check the schedule, but I know Jay County last year went to Carroll and wrestled Garrett. Mm-hmm. I don't know if that's still on the schedule.
Well, I think Jimmy Lynn said that New Haven wrestled Garrett the other night, and I think they had a good match, and I think New Haven beat Garrett.
Yeah, so I don't know. Is New Haven 2A as well?
Well,
they are, aren't they? Yeah, I think they are.
Yeah.
So I think one to me is clear. I would like to see. I've said this for years. I'd love to see Jay County and Belmont wrestle a duel. Yep. It's too dang on bad that they're 40 minutes from each other and they don't wrestle a duel.
And they're not going to see each other until the team state.
That's right.
Belmont could come into the team state 22-0.
They very well could.
Yeah.
They very well could. And but I don't think there's a lot of difference between the top 5 or 6 teams. Matchups matter. How coaches make their moves, because there will be moves. Just because you're 150 today doesn't mean you're going to not wrestle 157. It's going to be fun.
We interviewed Coach Cody LeCount. He was gracious enough to come up and talk to us after being defeated 39-37. And he said he knew that Ronimus is not in the lineup. Tuttle was not 100%. And there's some wild cards there. And he made a move. Did that move pay off for him? If he doesn't make the move, does he win one of those matches he lost? I mean, that's a swing of 2 points. Could have went either way.
And he made the same move against Jay County, and it did work.
Did okay.
So you got to take all those things into consideration. I'll tell you what, I wouldn't want to be in the seeding part of it, because I think you have to take all aspects into play. I don't think head-to-head matters as much as a lot of people think it does. I think you, just like the college football playoff committee, right? Yeah. A star player's out, so they're the 5 seed.
The only difference between the college football playoff, I think there's way more money involved and people get paid off.
That could be.
The guy that makes those decisions is Dane Fillings sitting at home. And I can guarantee you, he ain't making no money from anybody.
That's
true. He's just pulling a rabbit out of his hat and hoping it comes out right. And when it comes to December 17th, we'll find out who's seeded 1, who's seeded 2. And I talked to Coach Chad Shepard, and he said, don't seed me.
Yeah.
I don't care. Yeah. Let me be the wild card. I'll come in there, because Shepard's got some dangerous kids. They are dangerous, and they're going to surprise somebody.
Well, I'll tell you, you was talking about Cody LeCount. So 2 years in a row, they've had a bye. They lost their first match. They were the 3 seed the year before, maybe the 3 or 4 seed when we were in Martinsville.
Yeah.
They lost to Wawasee. And last year, they had the bye. They lost to Hamilton Heights. And it's funny today that, Delta very well could be the 1 or 2 seed. Last year when he walked out of there, his exact words to me were, if we get a bye next year, we're not coming. Well, he's going to get a bye, because he's 1, 2, 3, or 4.
Yep.
But I bet they come.
I'll tell you what, there's going to be some great wrestling there. And tune in. If you can't be there, you're missing out. But if you can't be there, tune in, because it'll be on WZBD. It'll be on the WZBD YouTube channel. It'll be on PGW. There will be plenty of places to tune in to watch it. And Nat, I appreciate you coming up here tonight and sitting in on us. And I'd like to thank our 4 sponsors, the Fort Wrestling Facility, Indiana Girls Wrestling Association, Jackson Associates, and Jay County Wrestling Club. And it's a pretty good night of wrestling here, as the Jay County girls got some good matches in against some pretty quality opponents. And there wasn't a lot of matchups, but I thought there were some good matches.
Yeah, I thought there was some good matches. And it's really, you know, it's really distinctive. We talked about the infancy of this sport, the girls that are just now trying it for the first time, and the girls that have done it for a couple years. And just to be able to, if we're doing this same match 2 years from now, some of those young kids, we're going to see what we've seen by the juniors and seniors, and that's going to be fun for me.
You can really see the difference between the wheat and the chaff.
Yes,
I mean,
absolutely.
Some of these girls, they're high wrestling elite level, and some of these girls just starting. I mean, there are some real mismatches.
That's
but
right.
I tell you what, you don't learn if you don't get beat on a few times. You don't learn what it's like. And some of these girls have really come a long way, and it's a great sport. That's why WZBD and the High School Wrestling Weekly have gotten behind it. We're the only people. We carried what we think is the first ever girls dual meet on the radio in the country, and we're kind of proud of that. And by doing that,
Columbia City, right?
Yeah.
Last year.
And by doing that, I think it won Dane and I the Distinguished Media Award for the Coaches Association that will be awarded at the end of this year. But it's always great to have good wrestling on the radio, and it's not whether it's girls wrestling or boys wrestling. It's just good wrestling, period.
Yeah, absolutely. I enjoy it. I love being a part of the sport. I love being part of the growth of the girls' sport. You know, I hope to be involved in the sport with many years to come at different levels. And thank you for having me again. I think I'll see you at Dane at some point Saturday.
We'll be around.
And for the ACAC duels, I think one of you will be, I think.
Dane and I both will be for ACAC. AJ and I are here at New Haven Friday night for the NE8, and then we will be at Jay County for the ACAC on Saturday.
Before I leave, that's something I want to say. I think the NE8 is going to tell us a lot about December 17th.
Yeah. And there's still some seeding that's going to be going on in there, but you know that the NE8's got some teams in there that have got some real teams this year. I mean, New Haven, East Noble's gotten better. New Haven's pretty good. DeKalb's got some good wrestlers, and I mean, there's no walkovers in there.
You know what I'd like to promote? I think we've seen on Indiana Mat a couple about some all-star teams, Brownsburg versus the state or Crown Point versus the state. You know what I'd like to see? An all-star match at NE8 versus the ACAC.
There'd be some matches there,
There'd be
wouldn't
some
there?
great matches. I mean, you've got some pretty good wrestling schools in the ACAC with Jay County and Adams Central, South Adams, and I think it'd be fun.
Well, let's see if we'll put Dane on that, see if Dane can work something up. But
we could do it after this week after state.
Yeah, we can do that. See how many people.
Our 126 might be 130 or 138, but.
I tell you what, it's been a great night of wrestling. This is going to be us signing off, and this will be on the YouTube channel for your viewing pleasure anytime you want to. So tune in. Once again,